Hey everyone, so there's been some confusion, which is totally understandable, between the CBT versus the block by block and the orange versus blue. So I'm going to give you a visual that will make it very, very simple to understand. So I am in Embrilliance Essentials right now. It's embroidery software, and it's just so that you can see what I'm talking about. So let's start by opening up a file. So you can go here to this merge stitch file and open up one of your files. So I'm going to open up, if I go to my desktop, and what do I have it under? Spring Showers Quilting Bundle right here. And then there are all the different designs. So I'm going to open Weather 3. Weather 3 right here, and I click this button and there's the embroidery file. So notice right here under embroidery files there is block by block, or there's clear blue tiles. So it's the same file. They're both Weather 3, but it is the different version of block by block versus clear blue tiles. So let's open both of them so you can see. So the first one we'll open is the block by block. I'm using Pez. So I'm going to open up the 6x6 horizontal because that's what we're actually going to use today for our partly cloudy block. So 6x6 in horizontal right there. So I just double click on it and it opens up to my screen. I go up to this preferences folder and I can change to my 8x8 hoop and say okay. All right, so there is the block by block version of Weather 3. So as you can see, if you click on this button here, it shows you that there are the 5 steps that I've talked about in each of my videos. Step 1 is the placement stitch for our batting. Step 2 is the tack down stitch of our batting. Step 3 is the placement stitch for the main fabric. Step 4 is the tack down stitch of the main fabric. And step 5 is the quilting design. So when you do the block by block version, you get all of these steps in your block so that you can have your batting and you can cut it out from the seams. After you tack it down, you would trim it. And that's what gives us this 1/4 inch seam allowance that you can see here. All right, but we have to obviously trim it for that to happen. So that is the block by block version of Weather 3. So let's do the same thing and we'll open it in the CBT version. So if I go to File, New Page, then I can go ahead and add that file. So I'm going to go, instead of the block by block, I'm going to close that one and just go to the clear blue tile. See where it says clear blue tiles here? Then I click on my Pez, because that's what I use for my Brother machine, and I'm going to look for the 6x6 just like we did before. 6x6 horizontal. So if I double click on that, there it is. Now look, if I click over here to see all the parts that make up this file, it's just that one thing. It's step 5. Remember, step 5 was our quilting design. So that's all you get when you do the clear blue tiles version. You just get the quilting design and not the batting. And the reason for that, think about when we did that clear blue tiles table runner. We already had our batting. We did the batting on the entire table runner, and all we needed was the quilting design. So that's why this is set up just for the quilting design so that we can have the quilting go on the top and the bottom. It goes all the way through. We've already got our batting there. It's a different version. So it's a different type of quilting. We are doing block by block so that we can have batting down but not within our seams, and we're not adding the backing fabric, whereas we generally do if we're using our CBTs. So that's the difference of CBT versus block by block. Now let's talk about blue versus orange. So if I go back to this first one that we opened, you can see that this is a blue design, and the way that you can tell is because nothing's going into the seams. See how it's what I call a standalone design. It's all within that block. It's all right there. There's nothing going, there's no going over into the sides. So let's open a different one. Let's open, I think, rain. So Weather 1, let's open Weather 1 just so that you can see. So if I go to File, New Page, then I can add that file, a different file. So we've got, let's see, weather 3. So if we go to, I think it was oh, umbrella 2. Sorry, umbrella 2. Let's go to umbrella 2. Oh, sorry, that's the block name. Sorry, my mistake. So it's weather 1 is the rain. Sorry about that. All right, weather 1. So I open that up, go to embroidery files, go to Pez, and you'll see that I didn't have an option of the CBT versus the block by block. I just have the designs in there, and that's because this is an orange design. There isn't one that is just for CBTs, because this isn't one that would work well with the CBTs. So let me go down to the 6x6 horizontal, and now you can see, so this is an orange design, and the reason that we know is because the quilting goes into the seam, and it's a traveling line, so you can see that it goes over here. You wouldn't want to see where it's going to go on the edge. You want it to go into the seam. We don't have batting in our seam, so it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect our seams at all when we're sewing our blocks together, but it just makes it so that you don't see that. So this part will be sewn into our seams, and then it just looks like it's all effortless right here. So here's the difference. This one is the block by block, and you can see nothing goes in the seams. This is a blue design, whereas this orange design, it goes into the seams. And again, it doesn't matter because it's not going to put batting in our seams. It's just the different type of design. And for those with big hoops, it really doesn't matter. There's not a whole lot of instance that it's going to matter. But if you're double hooping, it matters because you wouldn't want to put this on top of the other. So let me give you a for instance here. So if we were to open, let's see, let's do a 4x4. So let's do this. So this is a 6x6. So those that are going to double hoop would do a 4x6 and a 2x6. And you would, like I've said in some of the videos, you would want to use a blue design. And here's why. Let me show you. So if we do File, New Page, and that was weather 1. So we're going to open up weather 1 in a 4x6 and a 2x6. So here, let's see. Well, let's start with the bigger. So here's 4x6 in a horizontal. All right, and then and we'll just move this over. So if we move this over here, I should be showing you on a CBT, but that's right. And then I open up a 2x6. Here's the 2x6, so I would double click on that and then move it over. All right, so if you were double hooping, you would take out the third and the fourth step because otherwise it would go on top of the other. So let's go ahead and do that just to, again, give you a visual. Sorry, let me click outside of here. All right, so here's the third step. I'm going to click delete on my keyboard. There's the fourth step, click delete. Open up the second part and again click the third, delete, fourth, delete, just so that we can see it all together. So if you were double hooping, you see this here? See how this is going to go over your design. So if we would need to move it over, right? We would want it close to each other so that they look seamless together. So you can see I'm lining up the batting because that in reality that's what we would do. I showed on the 5x7 tutorial that you would use your batting to line up the design. So here it is lined up, and you can see that the part that goes into the seam would be on top of your other design, and that's why we don't recommend using an orange design if you're double hooping. So you can see this would work fine. Let me show you on like a blue design. So here is the wind. Actually, I showed this in the 5x7 tutorial, but let me add it here too. So File, New Page, and then I would just go to here to merge the design, and I'm going to choose a blue design, any blue design. So let's say the cute clouds that we're actually going to use coming up soon, not yet. Oh, we are. That's the one we're using today. Cute, cute, cute. All right, so I'm going to look for weather 2. So I'm just going to close this one and here, weather 1, weather 2, here it is. All right, so if we use the embroidery files, and I recommend the block by block, so we would do a 4x6 and a 2x6. So here's our 2x6. Let's find the 4x6 first. I always like to start with the bigger one first. All right, so 4x6 horizontal, double click that, and we're going to move it over. And then, like I said, I think it's a good idea to remove steps 3 and 4 because they're going to be in your way with double hooping. So just click delete. All right, and then file merge, or not, sorry, go to this stitch, merge stitch file. This makes it easy because then you can see them. You can do it on the other way, but this makes it so that you can see it better. All right, so Pez, and then I'm going to look for a 2x6. So 2x6 horizontal right there, double click, and we're going to move it over. And then I like to take out that steps 3 and 4. Click delete, delete. All right, and then we can just click on the design and match it up. So I like to match up the batting with the batting. That makes it easy. All right, so see how you wouldn't see that orange strip, obviously, that's on your stabilizer, but see how that's all together and there's nothing going into the seams. That's why you would use a blue design versus an orange design. And even if you have a big old hoop and you don't have to double hoop, this is just a good way to understand the difference between the blue and the orange. The orange designs always go into the seam with these traveling lines, and the blue designs don't have that. The blue designs are just standalone design all in one. So that's the difference. Clear blue tiles versus, or the CBT designs versus the block by block, which, like I said, the CBT one is just the design. Just see here, it's just that one, the last step. That's all it is. Whereas the block by block version, you have all of the batting, placement, and tack down, which is really helpful for our quilt that we're doing. That's why we're doing block by block. Whereas if you are doing a design that you've already got the batting all attached and you want the quilting to go on the back, then you would use this CBT version without having those placement stitches for the batting. So CBT versus block by block, and then orange versus the blue. Standalone design versus one with traveling lines that go into the seams. I hope this helps.